Chidinma was the apple of her parents' eyes, their beloved and only daughter. For 7 years, after having 6 sons, Mr. and Mrs. Okafor had prayed fervently for a girl, and then Chidinma was born. She was treated like a princess in every sense of the word. Growing up in a wealthy Igbo family, she never lacked anything. Her parents adored her, and her 6 brothers doted on her, making sure she was shielded from every hardship. But this overpampering would lead to unintended consequences soon. Chidima's mother was head of the household, but had never insisted that her daughter learn any household chores. Whenever it came time for chores, Chidima's brother took on the burden, while she lounged and played with her dolls or watched TV. She's too fragile, Biko, leave her be, Mrs. Okafor would always say, defending her decision to spare Chidima from any housework. In school, Chidima was known for her beauty, charm, and fashionable outfit. But beneath the surface, there was a growing disconnect from reality. She barely knew how to boil water, let alone cook a proper meal. While other girls her age were learning how to manage a home, Chidima remained blissfully unaware, shielded from the real world by her parents. As Chidima grew, her personality became apparent. She was bold, playful, and quick to demand her way. Her mother, who had once been strict and disciplined her brothers, couldn't find it in her heart to discipline her precious daughter. Whenever Chidima cried, Mrs. Okafor would rush to her, giving in to whatever whim the little girl had, whether it was a toy, candy, or staying up late. Chidima learned early that her tears were her greatest weapon. By the time she was 6, Chidima had developed a sense of entitlement that was hard to overlook. At school, teachers often sent notes home about her behavior. She refused to follow instructions. She threw tantrums if she didn't get whatever she wanted. But instead of addressing the problem, the Okafors brushed it off. She's just a child, they would say, and beside, we waited so long for her. She'll grow out of it. Leave her be, please. But Chidinma didn't grow out of it. Instead, she grew more into it. As a teenager, Chidinma's entitlement turned into something more troubling. Her friends at school both admired and envied her. She had the newest clothes, the latest gadgets, and never lifted a finger in the house. Her brothers did everything for her, cooked, cleaned, and laid out her clothes for the day. Years later, she grew to an adult and met Tunde, a handsome and successful Yoruba man who was immediately smitten by her. Tunde, a traditional man, fell in love with her beauty and poise, and despite the cultural differences between their families, they soon got married. The wedding was the talk of the town, a grand celebration that brought the two families together. Little did Tunde know that his beautiful bride had been coddled all her life and was clueless about basic household duties. It wasn't long into their marriage that Tunde began to notice Chidinma's complete lack of domestic skills. At first, he found it amusing, chalking it up to her privileged upbringing. However, things took a turn one fateful evening. One day, after a long day at work, Tunde came home and asked Chidinma to prepare jollof rice for him. Jollof rice was his favorite dish, and he looked forward to eating it. Chidinma, wanting to impress her husband but utterly clueless about how to make the dish, panicked. She had seen the vibrant orange-red color of jollof rice before, but had no idea how it was made. After a quick glance at the fridge, her eyes landed on a bottle of Fanta. The bright orange color seemed to match the color of jollof rice. It must be the Fanta that gives jollof rice its color, she thought to herself. Without a second thought, Chidinma opened the bottle of Fanta and began pouring it into the pot of boiling rice. As the rice absorbed the fizzy orange soda, she smiled, thinking she had found a clever shortcut. Meanwhile, Tunde, who had noticed the odd smell coming from the kitchen, decided to check on her. He opened the kitchen door and just in time to see his wife pouring another bottle of Fanta into the rice. His eyes widened in shock. Chidinma, what are you doing? He exclaimed, rushing over to the stove. I'm making jollof rice, she replied with a bright smile, proud of her supposed culinary ingenuity. Tunde was speechless. He had never seen anyone use Fanta to cook jollof rice, and the thought of eating sweet soda-flavored rice was both horrifying and hilarious. Chidinma, jollof rice is not made with Fanta. Who taught you this? Tunde asked, his voice a mix of frustration and disbelief. No one taught me, Chidinma admitted sheepishly. I just thought the colors matched, so I used it. Tunde stared at her, realizing the full extent of her ignorance when it came to cooking. He immediately grabbed his phone and called her parents, barely containing his frustration. Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma. There's a situation here. Tunde began, his voice tense. Is everything okay, my son? Chidinma's father, Mr. Okafor, asked concerned. No, everything is not okay. Your daughter is trying to cook jollof rice with Fanta. Tunde exclaimed, his patience wearing thin. I don't understand. How can she not know something as basic as making jollof rice? I married her, but I'm not her parent. She needs to know how to manage a home. Chidinma's parents were shocked and immediately started apologizing. Please, my son, don't return her. We will teach her, we will guide her. Please, if it's our fault, we take responsibility. Biko, nah, don't return her. Mrs. Okafor pleaded. Tunde sighed. This is not just about cooking, ma. She doesn't know how to do anything around the house. I'm not expecting her to be a professional chef or a house cleaner, but at least the basics, ma. We failed her, Mr. Okafor admitted over the phone, his voice filled with regret. We pampered her too much, but please, my son, don't give up on her. She's your wife now. We will take responsibility for this, but please be patient with her. Chidinma, who had been listening quietly to the conversation, felt a wave of embarrassment and shame washed over her. For the first time in her life, she realized the consequences of her parents' overpampering. She had always been treated like a princess, but now, in her marriage, she was struggling because of it. Tears welled up in her eyes as she faced the harsh reality. Tunde, seeing her distressed and crying, softened. He walked over to her and gently took her hand. Chidinma, I'm not angry with you. I just want us to be able to build a home together. Okay, stop crying. I'll help you learn. But you need to be willing to try, okay? Chidinma nodded, wiping away her tears. I'm sorry, T. I never learned any of these things, but I want to try. I'll do better. Over the next few months, Tunde took it upon himself to teach Chidinma how to cook and manage the household. He was patient and kind, understanding that her upbringing had left her unprepared for the realities of marriage. With time, Chidinma began to improve, learning not just how to cook jollof rice, but also how to make other dishes. She even grew fond of cooking, something she never thought she would enjoy. Her parents, true to their word, also got involved. Whenever Chidinma visited them, her mother took the opportunity to teach her everything she neglected before. It was a humbling experience for Chidinma, but one that she had embraced wholeheartedly. In the end, Chidinma's journey was not just about learning to cook. It was about growth, responsibility, and the realization that being pampered could only take her so far in life. She had to stand on her own 2 feet and face the challenges of adulthood head-on. As for Tunde, her loving husband, he admired his wife even more for her willingness to learn and grow. Together, they built a strong foundation for their marriage, one based on love, patience, and mutual respect. The jollof incident became a funny story they told at family gatherings, but it also served as a reminder of the importance of balance in parenting. Mr. and Mrs. Okafor learned that while it was important to love and care for their daughter, they also needed to teach her the values of independence and self-reliance. Chidinma would go on to become not just a loving wife, but also a capable and responsible woman who had finally stepped out of the shadow of overpampering and into the light of maturity. Now, this is a lesson for parents that begins to dot on a particular child and pamper her to ruin. Not knowing how to cook, clean, and at least take care of themselves is to their own disadvantage. You will not always be around as a parent, so you should teach them the necessary life skills that are valid and important to survive. Did you enjoy the story? Kindly subscribe, turn on your post notification bell to be the first to know when another amazing story is made available. Like and share. Till the next story lovers, enjoy your day. Bye.